I have another story for you, again by Thurber. This one is, I think, a charming story in a lot of ways. It's about a man who saw a unicorn in his garden, which I think is wonderful. It's also about a battle between a man and his wife. These are not the most friendly people in the world. However, it's still an interesting story. So here it is. This is called The Unicorn in the Garden. Once upon a sunny morning, a man who sat at a breakfast nook looked up from his scrambled eggs to see a white unicorn with a golden horn quietly cropping the roses in his garden. The man went up to the bedroom where his wife was still asleep and woke her. "There's a unicorn in the garden," he said, "eating roses." She opened one unfriendly eye and looked at him. "The unicorn is a mythical beast," she said, and turned her back on him. The man walked slowly downstairs and out into the garden. The unicorn was still there. He was now browsing among the tulips. "Here, unicorn," said the man, and he pulled up a lily and gave it to the unicorn. The unicorn ate it gravely. With a high heart, because there was a unicorn in his garden, the man went upstairs and roused his wife again. "The unicorn," he said, "ate a lily." His wife sat up in bed and looked at him coldly. "You are a booby," she said, "and I am going to have you put in the booby hatch." Now at this point I'm going to break for a minute and explain to you what a booby is and why she made that comment.
So Michael, this is a picture of a booby, which I'm sure to other boobies looks perfectly reasonable, but it has these big webbed feet, and to people it looks a little ridiculous. In particular, it does this mating dance where it hops from one foot to the other, and people have been known to watch this mating dance and just fall down laughing. It looks so ridiculous. So the word booby came to mean somebody who looks ridiculous, and then later it came to mean somebody who's crazy. So a booby is a crazy person, and a booby hatch is a place where you put crazy people. In other words, a nut house. So that's the story of the boobies. Now back to the real story.
So that's the thing about boobies. So now back to the story. So, "You are a booby," she said, "and I'm going to have you put in the booby hatch." The man, who had never liked the words booby and booby hatch, and who liked them even less on a shining morning when there was a unicorn in his garden, thought for a moment and said, "We'll see about that." He walked over to the door and turned back to her and said, "He has a golden horn in the middle of his forehead." Then he went back to the garden to watch the unicorn, but the unicorn had gone away. So the man lay down among the roses and took a nap. As soon as the husband had gone out of the house, the wife got up and dressed as quickly as she could. She was very excited, and there was a gloat in her eye. She telephoned the police, and she telephoned a psychiatrist. She told them to hurry to her house and bring a straitjacket. When the police and the psychiatrist arrived, they sat down in chairs and listened to her with great interest. "My husband," she said, "saw a unicorn this morning." The police looked at the psychiatrist, and the psychiatrist looked at the police. "He told me it ate a lily." The police looked at the psychiatrist, and the psychiatrist looked at the police. "He told me it had a golden horn in the middle of its forehead," she said. At a solemn signal from the psychiatrist, the police leapt up and seized the wife. They had a hard time subduing her, for she put up a terrific struggle, but they finally got her in the straitjacket. And just as they did, the husband came back in the house. "Did you tell your wife you saw a unicorn?" asked the police. "Of course not," said the husband. "The unicorn is a mythical beast." "That's all I wanted to know," said the psychiatrist. "Take her away." "I'm sorry, sir, but your wife is crazy as a jaybird." So they took her away, ranting and screaming, and they shut her up in an institution. I would assume a booby hatch. The husband lived happily ever after. And the moral of the story is, don't count your boobies before they're hatched. That's actually a double pun, Michael, but I'll leave someone else to explain that to you.